Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the OA Part 2, Episode 4. It is called SYZYGY, or SYZYGY. It is in all caps, so I mean...
It is, but they definitely say it as a word at one point.
They do, which is why I'm saying it both ways, but... yeah. Also, at one point they see this, and because one of the clues in the game is Three Wise Man, and they say, "Oh, it's Three Wise Man," and I'm like, it just made me think of Saul Goodman. I'm just like, Saul Goodman.
Me too. I'm going to get this out of the way early. It was pissing me off, this episode. Though. Every time they looked at the clue and said that, they went, Three Wise Man. Like three, they're like, it wasn't until they got the realization that they actually put in the comma. Even though there's a comma in the clue, right?
Okay.
I'm like, hang on. If you're doing a cryptic puzzle with a clue, maybe read the punctuation. It's probably important. Because they kept just saying, like, Three Wise Man. Like, I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. It's pissing me off.
This is what keeps Connor up at night.
It really does.
Say the comma, damn it! How dare they? So this episode did some surprising things early on. I was not thinking we were going to get the Great Escape this early, and then the last 10 minutes were like, oh yeah,
The show just went, screw it.
what you doing now? Who's that voice? In fact, do we have a voice in the credits? Wait, actually, see, because I think I recognised it.
I thought I recognised it as well, but I couldn't place it anywhere, so... But...
I'm not... oh, wait, no, yeah.
It was something else. Even by this show's standards.
Even by this show standards, yes. Yeah, something else, yeah.
Yeah. You admit, sorry, you were too busy reading.
I was too busy looking. I don't know the actor. I mean, I saw him in Legends for one episode, but I mean, like, I wouldn't have recognised his voice for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he was Ishiro Honda on Legends. He played the director of Godzilla.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so Kareem and Oe meet. Kareem comes to the place. Although before we get to that, I do want to mention I love that they're actually not, like, I was worried that the show might not address the idea of where did the real Nina go. Is there something, morally wrong what's happened here? I love that Homer, when she's telling them about this dream, starts asking the questions, well, where is she then? She's trapped inside you.
There seemed to be the implication that she's not dead, she's not overwritten, she's just locked in there.
Yeah. So
or at least that's Homer's assumption.
What I like about this, though, is obviously we've not gotten to this point yet, but then bringing this up again here has me confident that it's been addressed. It's not going to just be, like, let away with it.
And also it makes it a little bit less murderous, and it's essentially, holding her captive. It's which is there's a nice twist of irony to that.
Yeah, and she's not accepted that yet, but I think the fact that they're bringing it up again and pointing it out that way, she's going to have to go through that process, and this makes me confident they're going to do that. So Kareem shows up and demands to come in, and they let him speak to her, and at first she's like, I don't want to see anyone from Nina's life. I'm like, oh wait, have an open mind for a second, maybe see who it is before you turn them away. Joe, so she realizes it's a PI. She comes in, she speaks to him. What I like about this is that normally she obviously tries to convince people of her amazing story, but she's smart enough to realize that she has to convince him to get her out of here quickly, and that she can't do the whole spiel. She can't convince him of all the crazy stuff.
Looks like you're a little bit crazy at that point, and given where she is,
exactly,
maybe that's not the best look.
So I appreciate that she was smart enough to say, you know what, no, I'm just going to have to bullshit him with something that sounds believable first. And then, because I believe her when she says she's going to try and help him get in the house. I believe she's going to do that as best she can. But obviously she doesn't remember anything or know why, because she's not Nina. And I like how she was doing a good job of speaking as if she is Nina to a point. And then at one point, when they find the hidden room with all the tapes, she starts speaking in the third person again. She starts referring to Nina as someone else. And Kareem's just kind of noticing it and being like, Do
you know what I'm really glad about in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
That some people question the accent.
Yeah, that's true. Some people question the accent, yeah.
Because that was going to bug me if they didn't.
Yeah, because Kareem questions it when he hears her voice in the tape. He's like, that's you? And then later on, the people on the phone, when she calls in the what turns out to be a hidden club. We don't know yet. The title of the episode turns out to it's this place. Like, okay, I want to come to this place. So she phones the place, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can get you tonight, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they question it on the phone. You don't sound like yourself. But she does actually try and practice the accent a little bit so that she can maybe bullshit some people later.
Just enough to get by.
Yeah. But hey, so yeah, we finally got to see what the poster came from. All the blue lights, the lines. That was in the poster.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is where the poster came from. And she's in the red dress, which Kareem points out he had this dream. That was the opening scene of the season. Was
Yes.
him driving? He had this dream, and this idea that even he's having dreams that are prosthetic in some way.
Yeah.
So
Seems to be a big theme this season.
yeah, because obviously they're all recording their dreams at this experiment, and
Yeah.
Nina was doing that as well before she gets
Some
taken
seemed
away.
less prophetic than others,
Mm-hmm.
but very thorough record keeping.
Yeah. Yeah, because the one they were listening to was Something Was Gonna Ass, and that's when they decided to stop playing it.
Yeah.
So all this was solid stuff. All this was interesting. It was interesting seeing them figure things out. They're sitting in the diner looking at the map, and she's finding out about the game, and she remembers what Rachel said, and she's kind of putting two and two together. And then I feel like an idiot for not making the Michelle and Buck connection earlier. I'm going to blame the fact that it was so long between seasons.
Yeah, I am feeling guilty for that. 2.5 years.
Because I never remembered that Buck's original name or given name was Michelle. I didn't remember that. And even last episode when the parents called him that, it never clicked. It wasn't until OA looked at it. In a way, though, it kind of worked in the sense that I realised it with OA. So that was a nice moment.
Yeah. Do you know why I didn't click in the last episode?
Mm.
Is because I didn't remember that it was Michelle that was missing from the first episode. That hadn't stuck in my head enough.
The name hadn't stuck.
Yeah, the name there. So hearing it go, then didn't make me go, oh, that was the name of the missing person.
Yeah. It's what it is. But it was a nice moment. It was a nice moment in this episode for me. So they go to this club, and it's like, okay, and so we know they've accepted her because it's almost like she's going to. It's like going to a spa. We can fit you in today, kind of thing. That's what it sounds like in the phone. Almost.
Yeah, they're like, well, just don't come till this time. We need a little while to get the equipment ready.
Yeah, we need to prep things. And I'm like, okay, so but it's like a club. It's like a bar with some dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
And Kareem goes looking around, and she's kind of hanging about there. And then like the people who work there sort of come and drag her into this place, and like, okay, remember your safe word if things get too weird. And I'm like, oh, those marks on her arms, that's probably where these came from, wherever they are.
Do you know what? I was really glad about this because earlier on in the episode, at the very start when she's talking with Homer, she goes, "Oh, this skin's so soft, and untouched," and I'm like, "Yeah, but there's all these big red marks on there," and she didn't address it there or then, didn't reference it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is that something that's like a byproduct of whatever treatment they're doing in here?
No, she already had that, I think.
I think she obviously did, but I couldn't remember well enough because obviously I hadn't been looking for them. So
she gets sat out. She's strapped into a chair, and she's sat out, and it's the curtains open. And it's everyone, everyone in the club. They've stopped dancing. There's no music's playing. They're just watching her, and she's sitting there. And then as soon as they reveal this giant freaking octopus in a tank behind her, I went, "Of course they're suction marks."
Yeah, me too.
Of course they are. As soon as I see the tentacles, I'm like, yeah.
Do you know what got me? You see the tentacle, or the shadow of a tentacle. You know, there's a pool of water, and then you see the shadow of a tentacle. I'm like, where are we going with this?
This is the most absurd. This is the most absurd thing this show's done. Even just the idea they've got a big CG octopus behind her, which to be fair looked quite good. I actually think they did a good job here of making this look not stupid.
Well, I mean, they had enough time in post production to get it looking good.
That's true. Maybe that's what took the 2 years. It was just CG
rendering this octopus.
Yes, this octopus needs a lot of work. We don't want this to look stupid outside of just the base stupidity of the it being there. And then it starts talking to her. No one else can hear it. It's just talking to her.
It's telepathically linked to her when it's touching her.
And it says, it knows it's not. She's not Nina. It's called the old knight. Knows it's not Nina. It's like, oh, she's my mouthpiece or whatever. And it's like, you have to repeat after me. And So he repeats things, and it eventually says, "And tonight I'm not talking through Nina. Tonight I'm talking through the OA." And she doesn't say that at first. She's like sort of stunned for a second. Is like, they'll tell him the truth. This only works if you tell the truth.
This was something else.
This was the more this went on, the more I was just kind of sitting there being like, "This show's lost its marbles," but I think I might be okay with it. I'm not sure.
I'm like, I am beyond comprehension. But there's a big giant talking octopus telepathically speaking through OA. I think I'm into this.
But for a second, I was like, "This might be too weird." I don't know. Do you know what? I think this is the first time it's gotten to proper David Lynch levels of what the hell. Like it's always been this show where it's about faith,
Borderline,
and it's always been had these kind of weird kooky elements where it'll have characters believing in things that are kind of strange. But this was the first time where a visual made me go.
Do you know what I think it was as well? Everything last season, it was always whenever there was anything weird, it was her telling the story.
Yeah.
Of this, something weird. So there was always this. But can we trust that she's telling this right? Whereas here, it's we're seeing this. This is,
and not only that, Kareem's seeing it, which I think is, if nothing else, he's the audience conduit of this is weird. I'm seeing this.
yeah, sure. And so there's no. Last season, there was obviously at times there was doubt whether or not what she was saying was real. So whenever it got something weird, or it described the NDEs, it was always like, yeah, but
also I love the dude in the because Kareem turns to the guy, he's like, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "I just do the lights, man. I don't know."
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me.
I can appreciate this dude.
Yeah,
I get it.
So yeah, and eventually, like, you can save them. He says you can save them, and he's send you somewhere. So I'm going to have to kill you. And I'm like, because actually, see, before the curtain came out, I actually thought, is she going to get killed with a tank like the season 1? Like, was Nina being killed that way?
I thought that too, yeah.
Yeah, voluntarily. Was she going and getting her head dunked in the water? But it kind of goes to that similar place where he's like, "Oh, I need to kill you. Do I have your consent? I need your consent for this."
For 37 seconds.
For exactly 37 seconds, I need your consent to kill you. And
she asked very specific, she goes, will I be brought back? Will I, And he just goes, well, assuming your man does his part.
Yeah. So what she seems to do, he also kills the old knight. But I get the feeling the old knight knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
I get that feeling. And he was okay with it. He'd made his peace with that.
Also, can we point out, he is not the only octopus that can talk. He implies that all octopuses could talk like this. They just choose not to because they think humans are not worthy of it.
Is this crossing over with Aquaman? I get the feeling that there's some Aquaman crossover happening here. So strangles her, and she has an NDE essentially, just of time off.
And now we know she goes into the future for these NDEs potentially.
Potentially, yeah. And it goes all. I loved how grainy it looked. It looked all.
Yeah.
It looked all kind of lo-fi kind of footage, but she's on a plane.
Remind me of like a found footage film.
Yeah, she's on a plane. She's in the bathroom in a plane, and then she comes out, and she's walking, and everyone's eerily quiet, and there's this blonde-haired person sitting up the front, but the person's about to turn around. I think it's a woman. It's hard to tell though. But about to turn around, and it's just as the person's turning around, that's when snap, like you're back in.
I'm fairly sure it's a woman. I would hazard a guess it's her.
You think her would cut hair? She's cut her hair?
Yeah, in whatever dimension she's seeing into.
Sure, yeah, could be that dimension, yeah.
We know there's more than two, and that was the whole thing with the first lot of NDs, is, they went into the other dimension. So, yeah.
Next season, if we get a next season, there's going to be angels on infinite Earths. Just you wait.
I am convinced we're getting at least one more in this season.
One more Earth, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. This was like. Do you know what it was? It's like when the octopus was talking to her, like I wasn't sure if I liked it because it was so out there, right? It was taking I had to really process how I felt about it. But when she went into this NDE and it felt like the future and it felt like she was seeing something important, I'm like, I love this. Like, I'm loving this part of it. The moods, just the way it feels, everything about this is like speaking to me. And of course, she wakes up. The cops come in to bust the place, but they go downstairs and it's like, oh, I found the door from the game. It's the door that we keep seeing in the game, and we end the episode with them going through it, and it's just the door slams shut, and then cut to black. Obviously, there's some subplots to get to, but
worth noting, before she gets onto the plane, she's going through the Indeed, she's crawling through that space.
That's true. Yeah, it's almost like that's the network, or if you want to call it that.
I want to liken this to Dark.
Yeah, it's the tunnel that gets you to. Which, going back to the idea of the house having the tunnel.
Yeah, and this is where I think this ties in with Hap's plot, is we learn there are other ways to travel between dimensions beyond just the movements.
Because he meets someone who can tell that he's came from somewhere else. She was an actress in another Earth, which actually, now, obviously anyone in a TV show is an actor, right? So there's maybe like a meta joke here, but I think this is actually a meta joke to the real person, because the actress, I just clicked her name to see what she'd been in, and she actually has been in French films, which I don't know, she's a French actress, of course she's been in French films, but she's been in French films since the 90s when she was quite young, so I think that they were intentionally kind of like poking some fun here.
The idea that our real world
is one of the worlds, yeah.
Is one of the worlds in this.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm with you.
I don't think we're going to go there. I mean, who knows? This show could be crazy, but
so yeah, I wouldn't put it past it.
But like, if we get Brit Marling, do we get like the Brit Marling version of OA?
Don't. I can't do this.
Where she plays herself.
It is far too late to go down that rabbit hole.
And then she's going to go find Jason Isaacs. And Jason Isaacs is going to be like, all this stuff you're telling me, it sounds like a character I play on Star Trek.
Look, for the sake of the audience here, I just want to say, we're recording this at 5 a.m. A little bit loopy. And any other show, we'd be off the rails here. But this is a show with a giant talking octopus in it.
Yeah.
So this doesn't actually sound stupidly crazy. Not that stupidly crazy. Or, I mean, it doesn't to me at 5 a.m. anyway.
Oh, dear. It's like, you go see Jason Isaacs. It's like, yeah, that's a character played on Star Trek. I also said a character played in the OA, but that's purely happenstance.
No, I'm
no, I had to do it on the OA. I can't just do it on the Star Trek review. I have to do it in the OA too. All the OA fans need to hear my joke. Happenstance. Oh.
I was about half a second then from just walking off. Genuine.
You're too tired to stand up. Shut up.
I am. That's the only thing that stopped me.
He should become like one of those human statues and just call himself Happenstance because he's just standing there all day. Anyway, so I kind of loved this episode. It did get really weird, but I kind of like that it's opened this new door of weird. Like there's a whole new.
It's gone, screw it. You wanted weird. Here you go.
So we're getting super weird. So we're getting possibly magic tunnels in the building that leads to other universes. But
maybe.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is treacherous. I wonder if it goes back to the idea I had last episode about how BB-8 is the only one who's safe to actually travel because the kids go crazy. Or maybe it's not even a youth thing. Maybe it's just specific people can go and some can't. But OA, presumably having already travelled, will be
probably fine and dandy.
Probably fine and dandy, yes. But does this take them to the house, or do they go through another world first and then come back to the house?
Yeah.
Because I could see the next episode being them like walking into another world and being like, "Oh, here we are."
Too. Yeah.
It's interesting. So Hap meets this woman. Was it just me or were they saying tinnitus weird? They were saying tinnitus. Is that a normal thing?
Yeah, it is. I think one's a British, one's an American way of saying it, maybe.
So Jason Isaacs is like hating himself as he says it then because he's English.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. I've always heard tinnitus, but I think it sounds cooler.
I think tinnitus is the American way actually. Tinnitus is a very British thing.
Well, the British one's stupid then. Whatever. But whoever says tinnitus, stop it. Tinnitus.
I'd say tinnitus all the time because I've got the bastarding thing.
I get it sometimes. Which means we've both moved Earths apparently. We've both travelled.
No, it's not.
We're tourists.
No, I got it from some prick with a snare drum next to me here.
I just listen to music too loud. I think that's just all it is.
You can be proper unlucky. Like, it's one of those things where it doesn't even have to be a repeated action. Like, just one instance of it being too loud and tough shit, you're screwed now.
I'll have it all the time. I mean, I get it like once in a while. It usually goes away quite quickly.
I have it all the time. As long it's not too bad. It's not overpowering, as long as there's noise, like some level of background noise. If it's quiet, I can hear it. It's fine. I got music playing.
Oh, okay. I was going for a joke there, but
I know what you were doing, but I'm just like, no, it's not. I'm not having it.
All right. So he meets this woman, and she takes him to this play to show him something. He figures out but the big thing here is he has this realization that the reason why Owe managed to get to this there specifically is because she honed in on Homer. I was almost going to try a pun there.
Don't you even dare.
But he realizes that means Homer must be here in some way.
Yes.
And it might not be in the Homer of this world yet, but he's here in some capacity. So
that's interesting revelation.
Yeah, so that's kind of exciting to see what he does with that.
I just liked Hap not knowing shit.
I know this other person's like just prodding at him and being like, now,
so he's like, yeah, so you get all these other people, you do the movements, and she just laughs at him. She's like, didn't take you for doing the movements.
Yeah, and it also begs the question because she seems to understand that as a thing, though. She understands that's one way of doing it. So, like, how much does she know? Is there other people? Is like a whole network of people who are traveling around all the time?
Yeah, must be.
It's interesting. I wonder who did we reveal that someone in season 1 was someone who'd actually travelled from somewhere else. Like not one of the major characters. I'm thinking like someone who just set her on a path at some point.
I hope not, just because I won't remember it. I know I won't remember it because it was that long ago.
But it's a really fun idea, and I'm curious to see. And also, she doesn't know how awful he is. Because I think one of the little details I liked in this episode with Hap is he tries to like blame away for Rachel's death, but he keeps thinking about it and dumping the body throughout the episode, so it's clearly getting to him. Like his own morality is actually finally maybe hitting him.
Because I think the difference is he wasn't really killing the kids before.
Yeah, and in his mind that made it okay, even though it's horrific what he was doing anyway.
Yeah, of course. But I think he always believed there was a purpose with what he was doing. Whereas killing them is wasteful.
I've got a second theory though.
Okay.
Hap from this world is why he feels guilt because Owe remembers a code for the door that she shouldn't know.
Yeah, you're right. When she kind of switches off, when she's distracted, there are elements there, kind of like muscle memory.
Yeah, he basically, Kareem distracts her with a story about. It turns out it's about himself, but he says it's about his brother and why he doesn't, he didn't want kids, and he broke up with this person because she wanted kids, presumably the pregnant woman that he's friends with, that he's still close to. Which explains that weird moment from the other episode where he didn't want to touch her belly.
It does, yeah.
When the baby was kicking, but. Yeah, so going by that logic, then maybe his guilt is like the real Hap from this world trying to fight through, like
yeah, it could be,
kind of thing, which I think is interesting. I think it's interesting that they're really in there.
Yeah, it makes it more plausible that Homer is inside Homer, right? But for some reason, he didn't become the dominant personality.
Yeah, he didn't take control for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And Homer, speaking of Homer. He cares a lot about the fact that always ran off, but he's also trying to, find a partner because he's lonely.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't as into this plot. Do you know what struck me as weird? This is going to be one of the right. I never used Tinder, but they make a point of showing that it's Tinder.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing with Tinder was the swiping. Isn't that like the whole thing of it?
Yeah, I've never used it either, but I assume there's communication after the swiping.
No, but he's not swiping. He's literally like ticking yes or no. He's not swiping. It's a tick box.
Maybe there's a setting.
Maybe, but I mean, I feel like if you want it to be like, that's like the most recognizable thing about it. And I mean, they've got a logo there that says Tinder. They're not trying to hide it. So it just felt really weird to me.
Clearly, they have a reputation for swiping, but it's not the only option. Or I don't know. Maybe they changed it at some point. I have no idea.
I don't know. I just it just seemed weird to me.
Yeah, but it was a date, and I was, I recognized this actress from something. I didn't know what it was. Do you know who she actually is? She was the lead character in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. She was the vampire.
Ah,
And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, so it was. I can see it.
yeah,
I
you're
can see it.
right. Because it was bugging me though. I was like, I don't. I'll look it up. I can't bother.
So what's weird about this date stuff is that it's going fairly well. He's telling her about his job and some of the weird things that OA said, and she seems really into it because it's different. Most guys she dates, finance or tech finance. That was the joke, and she seems kind of into it. And then Homer, for some weird reason, even though we've never had the impression he's a stingy bastard, tries to divvy up the check at the end. He's like, all right, so I owe this, you owe this, and I'm like, this is a bit of a mood kill on a first date here, Homer, just for the record. I mean,
Yeah, and she's like, "Can't we just split it?" I mean, it's like $5 difference.
yeah. That's the weird thing. She's almost not even annoyed that she has to pay for some of it, because maybe it's a completely mutual date where it's not necessarily like one person
I
has
think
to
it's
have one out.
the breakdown rather
Yeah,
than just
it has to
close
be
enough.
to the penny, even though it's him that would be saving, like, because he says, like, I don't want to screw you out of some money, and she's like, it's like $5, like I don't like,
Yeah,
but. And then from that point on, it takes kind of a cold turn, and she kind of like rejects his offer of doing something else that night. But I do think it's interesting that he seems to be kind of searching for someone after talking to OA about all this stuff.
yeah. I get the point of this. I felt it was a bit of a drag to watch and went on far too long.
I think it was too bad, actually. I didn't really feel that.
Fair enough. I mean, it was just me. Let's say I get the point. Is the if we go with the assumption maybe that our Homer is in there, but this is the dominant Homer, and there's that fight for control, and elements of them are coming out. It's that, okay, talking to a maybe awaken something, and it's like, oh hey, I want.
I don't think it's just that though, because I think the reason why I was into these scenes is because we've not actually seen him get to hear about much of OA's story. It's all kind of happened off camera. I actually think it was worth seeing him talk about it, because it was worth seeing how he takes this information. Him talking about the glass cells and the story about him traveling Earths and all that. I thought him actually seeing how he talks about that and how he reacts to that was a valid use of time
Fair enough.
for the character. So I was actually kind of into that stuff. So
Yeah.
no.
Was that stuff was easily the weakest part of the episode for me. It wasn't really working for me.
Okay. It was a relatively small part overall, though.
It was.
No, I was really interested. I mean, I'll still love last episode more.
But last episode didn't have a giant octopus.
It didn't have the giant octopus and all the mind effery at the end, which is part of the fun of the show. So
yeah.
Okay. Odds that they're in a different dimension. Start our next episode after going through that door.
75%. I'm going. Yeah, probably.
Like slightly. Probability is that they are.
Yeah.
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 I'm feeling that. I don't think they won't necessarily know they are at first, though. I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe OA will assume it because she believes all this shit, but I feel like Kareem won't believe it until
No, I'm with you.
they do something, or witness something or whatever.
Well, I'll be really interested to see the mechanics of how this. The idea of they swap bodies when they go over to this other world, right? So, and obviously, when they're doing the movements, there was a very clear, defined point of transference.
I mean, what if not all the methods have transference? What if, like, the way the actress from the other world does it is obviously.
Yeah, that's changing bodies as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but what if the going through the houses isn't? Or what if the kid's being crazy? What if that's because, like, that's what they're left like when their consciousness is in someone else on another Earth?
Could be.
They're just kind of this, like, crazy husk. That's it. Michelle's properly missing though. Like, oh, because
Yeah.
obviously OA like asks about it, and you can tell that she's maybe thinking about her own abduction. She's thinking, is it someone like Cap who's got her?
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's like, no, she's physically moved somewhere.
Yes, I think it's likely that she also went through this tunnel,
Yeah.
right? Because she beat the game, so this was the last clue.
Or does this tunnel just hold you? Kind of, is it like a safe place to store your body? Kind of thing.
Could be like a nexus point.
Like an access point. Like it'll be there to go back to, and then once you come back, you'll come out in it
Yeah.
again. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm sure we'll discover more as we.
I'm sure we will.
As,
Well, I'm not sure we will. I think we will, but
we're only halfway through. We're going to find out some more stuff.
yeah. Well, we've found some more stuff. I don't know how specific we'll get on things.
I'm not expecting perfect clear answers. I'm expecting ambiguity from this show. That's part of the fun. But this was Primal Way. This is
Yeah. And let's hope for a return of the octopuses, octopi. I don't know.
Octopi. That sounds like an 8-sided pie.
It does. I don't know if it is octopi or not. I feel like it might be. Who cares? Look, I warned you it was late.
Yeah, I suppose that wraps up episode 4 of the OA part 2. I like this one a lot, though. I think this was, I think this and last episode were both fantastic.
Yeah, I like these two a lot.
So, here we go. So let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. We can support us for as little as $1 per month. Feel warm and fuzzy. And, make sure we are richer than the alternate versions of ourselves on Earth 2, where
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
where we're on Vimeo. Not doing very well.
Let's stab those pricks.
Stab those pricks. Why did it get violent all of a sudden?
I don't know. There can be only one.
Now we're making Highlander jokes. And you thought my happenstance joke was bad. We're making Highlander jokes all of a sudden.
Well, I couldn't remember. What's the one with the
Jet Li, you're thinking of the one.
I am. Yeah. See, I knew there was a reason my head went to that. Close enough.
Oh well, that's been the show. That's been the show, and we'll see you next time. So keep watching TV. Goodbye. Have you got any vanilla?